Hello, and welcome to Mr. Wizard's Workshop, episode number 24. Focus this week is on the idea of unlimited willpower and the assumptions around that. So basically, it's a lie. Or to expand the thought, unlimited access to your willpower is a lie. Basic definition of willpower: control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. The ability to control oneself, to determine one's action, is a powerful idea. And there's that very common saying, where there's a will, there's a way. But the idea that your willpower is always on will call, as they phrase it in the book, The One Thing, i.e. available for you to use at any time, is a lie. In fact, it is one of the 6 big lies from the book, The One Thing. Previous weekly episode focused on multitasking as a lie, which is another one of the 6 big lies. And last week's episode, I explained why the mistaken belief that everything matters equally is an achievement killer, which is another one of the big lies from the book. I'll post the links to those 2 episodes in the description for this week's episode. So this week, I'm going to explain why the idea that your willpower is an unlimited resource that you always have access to is a lie, and how to build your days around that fact. So effective application of your willpower is not based solely on your strength of character or inner fortitude. It's not about having true grit. There have been a couple of quotes around willpower that tie back to this idea. So when you have a limited theory of willpower, which I'm proposing that you embrace, you're constantly on alert, constantly monitoring yourself. Am I tired? Am I hungry? Do I need a break? How am I feeling? And at the first sign that something is flagging, you think, I need a rest or a boost. So the more we use our mind, see I have a typo there, the less minding power we have. That's a quote from Gary Keller, one of the co-authors of the book, The One Thing. A little quick housekeeping. Live attendees are on mute. And as always, you can drop any questions or comments you might have along the way into the Q&A box. At the end of the presentation, I'll check the Q&A and then open the floor up for questions and discussion. So willpower is hugely important. And I'm not saying that willpower isn't important for success. What I'm saying is that it is a limited resource and you should manage it as such. It's a timing issue. When you have willpower, you get your way. When I'm on and I have sufficient reserves of willpower, it's pretty easy for me to home in, focus on what I'm doing, ignore distractions, and keep going. So the key to harnessing it is when you use your willpower and for what. You can think of willpower like the power bar on your cell phone. You know, every morning you start out with a full charge and then you start using it up. That is draining down your reserves. It's like a fast twitch muscle that gets tired and it needs to rest. So here's a long list of things that tax your willpower. There's probably a few more, but implementing new behaviors, filtering distractions, resisting temptation, suppressing emotion, restraining aggression, suppressing impulses, taking tests, trying to impress others, coping with fear, doing something that you don't especially enjoy, selecting long-term over short-term rewards, i.e. delaying gratification. Another important concept that I didn't get directly from The One Thing, but and I was aware of it before, but the book, The Powerful Engagement, honed me back on this idea, and I did a little bit more research around it. So Ultradian rhythms help to account for the ebb and flow of our energy throughout the day. Physiological measures such as heart rate, hormone levels, muscle tension, brainwave activity all increase during the first part of the cycle. And I've dropped a little picture of the flow. So it's basically a 90-minute cycle where you hit your peak of performance at 90 minutes, right around that, and it starts dropping off. And then in the ideal world, to have a 20-minute healing response, R&R break, and then it starts over again. So this is and this is based on a lot of research done over the years. So this is a pretty consistent pattern. I'd say just about everybody. Based on what I've talked about so far, what exactly should you do? So as a reminder, willpower is depleted when we make decisions to focus our attention, suppress our feelings and impulses, or modify our behavior in pursuit of goals. You need your willpower at full strength when you're working on your one thing, the right thing, so that you don't let anything distract you or steer you away from it. Then you need enough willpower the rest of the day to either support or avoid sabotaging what you've done. So that's all the willpower you need to be successful. If you want to get the most out of your day, do your most important work, your one thing early, basically the first thing you work on each day. Also, plan your daily schedule with the Ultradian Rhythm in mind. So the action item for this week is resolve to always calendar block your one thing. And we've had couple of episodes where we talked about how to land on the one thing and had action items in the past for you to identify your one thing. So resolve to make that the first thing that you work on each day. Build out your daily schedule with intentional rest recharge breaks. So that factor in your understanding of the Ultradian rhythm. I block my work task into 60 to 90 minute chunks, and then I schedule 20 to 30 minute R&R breaks in between each work task. I also color code the task so that I can see at a glance on any given day if I have enough rest period scheduled. So I threw in a few quotes, or a quote from Cal Newport, who's also very big and highly recommends calendar blocking, which is do fewer things, working at a varying pace, and focus on quality. So I wanted to model, this is a snapshot of my last week's calendar. So as you can see, it's color coded, and I've got in blue the things that fall into the R&R rest recharge category. For my big thing, it's content development. So there's a particular color code for big things stuff. And then for my coaching fulfillment call, which is obviously something I need to do to support my clients, but it's not my highest priority thing, I have the light colored purple. And then for everything else, it's a different colored green. So a few brief announcements. And as usual, if you found this video useful, you know what to do. If you know someone who would enjoy or benefit from this content, then please send them the link. If you're watching this video after the live workshop, if you have any questions, please post them. I always respond to posts. So in the description of this week's recording, I'll post the links to last week's workshop episode, Everything Matters Equally, a previous workshop episode, Multitasking is a Lie, and I'll also post the link to register for this live workshop. So if you aren't already registered for this live workshop, which I run every Sunday, and you want to learn how to level up your productivity in weekly bite-sized chunks, then you're invited. So each week I feature instantly actionable steps you can take to double your productivity, overcome procrastination, and get your shit done. If you want to sign up, just hit the link, the registration link in the description of this week's recording to register. And I'll now open up the floor for Q&A. So let me stop sharing.
Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing good.
Yeah, no particular questions on this topic. It's not something I've personally studied a lot, but this year I learned about the Ultradian Rhythm. I'm never sure if I pronounced it correctly.
Yeah, no, I always have to remind myself, Ultradian.
Yeah, it's a difficult word when you just heard it a few times. Or I guess for myself, just accepting that willpower is a limited resource goes a long way, and understanding that, it's not something you can force. When it's depleted, and we need to take it seriously and managing our willpower is like blew my mind that this is a thing. But the moment I was able to accept that and incorporate it into my life, a lot of things became very clear. Why some days I do what I'm supposed to do and why other days I'm struggling. And ever since I learned about this concept, it's crystal clear.
Do you do calendar blocking for your
Yes.
work? Okay.
Yes. I wasn't very diligent about it until I started attending your workshops. But now I feel bad. I feel like I can't attend these workshops and not do calendar blocking, knowing how impactful it is. So yeah.
And it's for folks who are watching this, please start calendar blocking. It will get you, I guarantee, a 50% increase in productivity just by itself. The summary thought is that you don't have unlimited willpower, and it ebbs and flows. Related to that is the Ultradian rhythm, which, based on lots of research, your abilities to perform go through time periods of usually about 90 minutes is a peak. It starts falling off. And if you build in intentional rest periods of 20 to 30 minutes, then you're going to be more productive than if you worked straight on through.